A Voice of the Mother, Poetry and Indigenous Wisdom of Life by Grandma Betty Castillo. Grandma Betty is connected through a loving heart filled with gratitude. She's connected to all of nature, to the past, the present, and the future, with a deep love for all humanity. Even as we see the grace of this beautiful blue sort of blessing gesture of the heavens above her as she is bringing us her wisdom of life. Grandma Betty and her daughter Maggie, here on the left, are peace warriors, even in the tradition of the great peacemaker, bringing harmony and peace and reconciliation. They work together professionally all over the West in a variety of settings where healing is so needed and human dignity and recognition so needing to be supported. We have been friends, and they have been here at White Feather Ranch for many ceremonies, for drumming circles, for healings, for sharings, and we are deep friends and soul sisters. Oh, not in ethnic blood in this lifetime, but joined over many lifetimes in our mutual striving for the supporting of peace and humanity and the future. We have arrived at a stage in the evolution of humanity, deeply aware of our individuality, and yet the opportunity to be blessed with a higher consciousness that lets us know we're not only part of the whole, but that we have soul sisters and brothers, that we have spirit family that belongs to us from connections through lifetimes of common goals of caring about the higher sources of life, and that we are spiritual individualities living mortal existence, but that we are one in our deepest humanity and our sources of inspiration from the higher realms of the spiritual world that can bring us together.
I love the sun rays filtering through the clouds, and I can still feel I see their beauty, their radiation of life and of promise. And I love the cloud that's surrounding it, the promise of rain, of nourishment, of life. This is my grandma place, surrounded by the abundance of beauty of Mother Earth. And I pray to the four directions. And look at the birds flying above us, the vultures in pairs working together. So we must work in pairs. We must help each other, be united in love and compassion. And look at our strengths and not our weaknesses. For our strength empowers us to keep on going in the right directions and motivates us and fills us with love and joy and just the things that we need to make tomorrow a better day, not only for us, but for all those we love and for those that we want to help. In loss of life, we feel the pain and we shed our tears, and yet we turn around and we see the beauty and the gifts that they left with us. And that's what we look for, because that helps them and that helps us, and that always keeps that love alive that we send to them so that we can reach to them, so that we can work with Mother Earth, Father in the heavens. and connect and always be there. I hear the birds singing, and they sing to the earth, and they sing to us, flying over us. And all those are gifts of our ancestors, are gifts of life. And we are life, and we bring life. And when we die, we also bring life. So this journey is going to be a hard journey. But every step that we move forward, every step that we take is going to be forward. And let us teach our children and love children that belong to everybody. And love our youth, and because they're the changers and they're the shakers. And love our elders, because we still can give. We still have a heart to give and love to give. And when we see the youth and the children grow and shine, it just fills our hearts. And that's what it's all about, connecting and keeping that circle going. And when things are hard and they tear us down, let's look at the beauty of the little plant, of the promise of growth, of the promise of tomorrow, and we'll find a way to find our path. And this is love, and this is compassion. And it's not about us, it's not about me, it's about us. And it's about the future, and it's about the healing, and the victories of our ancestors, the victories of their battles, the sacrifices that they made for us to be alive. And here we are for them. Here we are, the promise of life. And they rejoice in that. And we rejoice in them. And love to everybody.
Grandma Betty was so tickled to hear the thunder when she saw this recording. And they occurred right after she said, rejoice. And when the wind came up, and it sounded just like thunder. And so she was so delighted to feel that response from the natural world to her offering. Grandma Betty's daughter, Magdalena Maggie, is a beautiful artist, and she has brought these inspiring work that they have shared through all their co-teaching and co-working to help take people through stages of soul healing and reconnection, and these beautiful expressions of that process and the honoring of life is so evident in these beautiful pieces by Maggie. And now we'll turn to some of Grandma Betty's poetry, which she will be saying for you, and realize how deeply she has lived and cared.
Drifting through the air. Drifting through the air, being unaware of why or when. Where can I find the wind to lift my wings, to drift me home? I pray soon. Tell me, how can I see you? But I cannot see me in this ocean of we. I fell in a hole, drowning, so I float up to catch my breath, the breath of life in this fight of hell. Sometimes we fear of being alone with ourselves, and we want to escape to find that peace within. And when we find that peace within our soul of grace, this is the feeling of inner love, the sealing of faith and fate that has brought me here and will take me home.
Here is Betty's beautiful poem on facing change.
Change. What is change? But an instant sacred moment, the precise moment in that day, time, and place, borrowed in one's life, where emotions, thoughts, attitudes, deeds live in search of all that is done and said with compassion as if they were prayers. Change ignites the flames of united people, embracing community with struggle, dignity, and heart. The gathering of the nations. Our prayers are lifted in passion and divine action, the crying out of victory, battles fought in the healing of generations, finding our connection of being in the oneness of all that exists of the heavens and earth, setting all spirits free, all tears shed, wiping out fear.
As Grandma Betty was sharing her beautiful thoughts and words, I glanced on the dining room table and saw this light on one of Maggie's pictures with a heart there that is in the center of the drum, and with the loving consciousness of mother and child and drumming, it's raised up and going into the world like butterflies meeting the stars. And it was so beautiful to watch the prism light coming to the center of the drum, to the center of the heart, and then playing there as if rising from the heart of the drum, from the heart of the people, with gratitude into the spiritual world. And then I turned to Grandma Betty, who had been praying as I was taking the picture, and I glanced, and there it was on her poetry, emphasizing the beauty of what she's bringing, the breath of life, the breath of new life. Here, Grandma Betty shares with us the wisdom of the symbol of the dragonfly.
The dragonfly, and it always comes to us, the transition of life, and also the transition of life and death into the spirit world. And it is also the transition into the new generations of love and trust and compassion and humanity.
Grandma Betty brought through this poetry very recently, like another direction from the wonderful long legacy of the four directions in the sacred circle, of a fifth direction into the heart. And here she is sharing with us that poetry.
The fifth direction, a gentle walk on Mother Earth in search of the sacred heart of the child within, done with empathy and compassion, those things that feed the soul. The inner child evolving from the stars, the prayer of the ancestors and ancient ones that give light to us and guide us with teachings and letting us know when it is time of letting go of the things that no longer serve us. And that is the safekeeping of tradition, this evolving of the child that brings us to the present with clarity, with truth. And there is no time to waste. That inner child is evolving on this holy path with the healing energy connecting the universe and the earth. And that is the strength that gives a voice of courage to the generations to come. And all this is written in the stars. And this is living in freedom, with peace, and with reverence to the God of all gods, of all nations, the giver of life, the receiver of death, this sacred circle, and that is the gift of heart to every heart and every nation.
I hope you notice the beautiful light dancing around Grandma Betty as she brought us those inspiring words. Magdalena and Betty, mother and daughter, peace warriors. What a privilege to know them. What wisdom they bring to us. How grateful we can be that they are helping guide and model the way to peace and understanding and compassion.